Isn't it fascinating the way we people use this superpower of turning everything on its head? No matter how much of a loser you actually feel you are, you can always reframe a situation in a way that makes you the moral winner. And who would blame you? Probably the person who wants to feel morally superior to you. But in all seriousness, fear of failure, even though it can also be a motivator and probably lies behind many achievements, when not confronted and dealt with, will ultimately lead to failure. Surprise, surprise. And failure is that dreaded place nobody wants to be in. That feeling of being alienated because everybody is so sensitive, tactful, and considerate that they think it's best if you suffer in isolation. That feeling you have nothing to humble brag about. That feeling that you can't even boast on social media about all these failures that made you the person you are today, because today you're a failure. Now, the bad news and the good news at the same time is that we are all losers. But as William Wallace would have put that, every man loses. Not every man loses the right things. If we are capable of a victory, but we lose, and instead of admitting defeat, we quickly produce reasons why it didn't really matter, why we never actually cared, and how we are above it all, it might look like an attempt to see blessings in all things. But usually it's just a sign of a wounded ego that knows it lost the big thing and now tries to bandage itself with some cheap consolation. Now let's be honest. For many people, for lots of people, Christianity, belief in God, is a cheap consolation. It's like you've tried to make it big in the world, you failed, the competition was too strong, so now you've decided to join that group of losers who think that the worse they have it in this life, the better off they will be in the afterlife. So, at the end of the day, they are not really losers, they are just worldly success-impaired people. The problem with this approach is that it's simply not true. Because if you feel like a loser, if your life didn't go as planned, you might use just about everything to cheer yourself up, and religion might be one of these things. But true spirituality, which doesn't mean having your head somewhere in the clouds, but on the contrary, getting down to earth, facing reality, true spirituality is a trap. It will make you a loser. Because if you let God do the work in you, then I can promise, sooner or later, you will lose. You will lose your defenses. You will lose your self-righteousness. You will lose your victim mentality. You will lose your pride. You will lose your prejudices. You will lose your pretense. And all these other faults that other people have. And what will you get in return? This Sunday you are meditating Matthew 5 verses 1 to 12. And seeing the multitudes, he went up into a mountain, and when he was set down, his disciples came unto him. And opening his mouth, he taught them, saying, Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are the meek, for they shall possess the land. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are they that hunger and thirst after justice, for they shall have their fill. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the clean of heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called children of God. Blessed are they that suffer persecution for justice' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye when they shall revile you and persecute you, and speak all that is evil against you untruly for my sake. Be glad and rejoice, for your reward is very great in heaven. For so they persecuted the prophets that were before you. When we think about prophets, usually the first idea that comes to mind is a person who is able to predict the future. But the real superpower of prophets actually lies in their ability to see the present, to see things for what they really are. And now, because prophets are usually nobodies, outsiders who lost their desire to win first places in society, this particular loss makes them able to see society much clearer. They are losing their illusions, and it hurts, But on the other hand, they refuse to lose hope, they refuse to lose heart, vulnerability, all these things that make us human. And this hurts even more, especially when you live with people who hate this limited human condition we find ourselves in. But at the end of the day, all that hurt is nothing compared to the blessing of being free and knowing which game is really worth winning. Every man loses. Not every man loses the right things. If you feel you'd like to be more of a loser, join me this Sunday on this channel for a guided meditation streamed live 10 p.m. Central European Time. Bye bye.